Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of I Don't Believe in Side Quests. I'm Gabe.
I'm Lauren.
And we got maybe not a lot to talk about, but I think we got some hot topics to talk about, some current topics to talk about.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, well, we're gonna catch up anyways. But I saw the tweet pictures you had put there, and so because we had done the screen share last time and I didn't know how it went, I pulled them up on my tab just in case if we wanted to screen share while they were talking about them. And I was looking at Board Gaming Mama's Twitter, and I saw her a tweet she had posted, and it was like, I felt like I don't know, when really weird things happen in the universe and you're like, this is very strange. Yesterday I've been playing on a whim. I loaded up my Disney Dreamlight Valley. I was like, I need to finish all the quests I haven't got to. I just want to finish them up. I want to get them ready and done, so when the next update happens, I'm ready. And as I was playing last night, I was like, man, I really wonder when the new update is. I'll look a different time. Today I'm looking at her thing. She's tweeted that she's going to stream because the new Disney Dreamlight update dropped today. I was like, oh,
already.
I could feel it. The universe was talking to me. So far,
I get
so
that
good.
feeling when I'm doing a crossword puzzle and I'm stuck on something, and then I just walk away from it, and then I run into the answer just like organically out in the world, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what it is. And it's like, it's not just that something got triggered. It's like I genuinely see like the word or read it or something and go, oh, duh. Yep. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. That's all I had for news. It just felt very much like that. The universe was talking to me. I'm supposed to be playing Disney Dreamlight Valley right now.
What did I do this weekend?
I hung
out with my sister a lot. Because she and her husband, did I tell you this? They bought a house.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so they bought a house. So that's going to be closing in the next couple of weeks. So in 2 weekends, we're going to move them all over and get that all done. So we're very excited. But she's moving where she's moving. Right now, she's like 12 minutes away from me. And she's going to be moving so she's like 45 minutes away from me. And it's like going to have to be traveling through a really congested part of the city. And anyway, so I'm just very sad. I'm very excited for her because the house looks great. Like, it's a wonderful location for them. The backyard's amazing for their dogs. Like, it's perfect for them.
Yep.
But I'm sad for me.
It's totally understandable. That's totally understandable. But, congratulations to them.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And
we're really excited.
If you don't have anything else before we get into it, I'll say sorry. Side note, I am sick, so please forgive me for my voice. If I blow my nose, I'll make sure to mute. And also, this will be coming out after Easter, so to those of you that celebrate, happy Easter to you. And we will...
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. I can't. Yes, exactly. And
I love Easter aesthetics. If you...
I can see that for you.
See what's going on behind me, if you're watching the YouTube, or if you're watching my Twitch at any time. I've got carrots hanging behind me, and they're little lights. At some point, I have to get batteries in there so they can actually like light up behind me, because right now they're just vibing.
They're so cute.
I've got a variety of... Maybe I can just wear bunny ears this whole time. Would that be fun for everyone? Okay.
No, you can wear bunny ears this one, or you could wear it in the next one when we talk about what we did for Easter if you want, or both.
Well, luckily I've got 2 colors.
I see.
Of bunny ears. So I can do both.
I think you wear the pink ones this time for the true spirit of Easter, and then the next time we're talking about it. Yeah.
Okay. I
think so.
I have so many like things I wear on my hat. Like, I've got antlers, and I've got like a little Happy New Year's tiara thing, and I've got more bunny ears. How do I have more bunny ears? Anyway, I just have so many things that I've just acquired over the years of streaming, because that's actually what I wanted to talk about. Because
I like how
on
you say
April
years,
4th,
like it's been years. Go ahead, on April 4th. I'm so excited. It's been April 4th.
I'm aware. Yes.
Oh.
Yesterday, April 4th, but I'm saying April 4th because no one's going to know what day it is when this comes out.
That's fair. Okay, on April 4th. Yeah, but it'll be after
on April
that.
4th, it was my my second anniversary of streaming Nancy Drew games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was your second year of kind of streaming in general, though.
Well, because my true streamerversary is in October.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying.
I played a bit, played some Halo with Idaho.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Played some Stardew Valley, but it wasn't until April 4th, 2021, when I first streamed my first Nancy Drew game. And then that's when I found my community. You and I met. So
Congratulations.
truly, it was life-changing. So I like to
deserved.
celebrate that
Well deserved.
as well. And that way I get to celebrate in October, and then my birthday, which is in January, and then my Nancy streamiversary in April.
Mm-hmm.
So I hit a lot of parts of the year to celebrate, which is fun for me.
I love that for you. I was not trying to be rude when I laughed at you. It just humored me because, like, I would say I've been streaming for years because I'm at, I have to do math right now, like seven or 8 or something like that. So like when you say years, I think like 3, 4, someone like up.
Multiple years.
It has
been.
been
multiple years.
It has
it
been.
Counts.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to detract from that. It just gave me a chuckle. But no, I like that. I think it's appropriate. I think from my understanding, you started streaming more seriously in April than maybe you have in the past too. So I think it's a very fitting anniversary. Oh, and it's perfect. And it's you. I think April is very you, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what I mean by that, but like when you're saying like you love the Easter aesthetic and stuff, like I can see springtime being you, and just like you're very, spring to me, I think like we're bringing new life into the world. Things are like, you've made it over the hurdle of the dark side. The sun is starting to shine again. You're getting the beautiful new life, new vibrant colors. I think a lot of like kind of more pastel-y, light, fun colors, which I think for me feels very you when I think about you. And so it's like the rays of sunshine are breaking through in spring, and that's what I feel like you are. So that's kind of what I feel like April is very you.
Wow.
Sorry.
That's so sweet. I feel like I, for a long time, wanted to be like an October, like kind of spooky aesthetic. Like, I think I wanted to be that person. And maybe it's just through my life as I've grown older and just learned more about myself. And I think it's also Idaho. Like, my husband's a really, really positive, just happy guy. His favorite color is yellow because it's so happy.
I love that.
Yeah. And so just being around him and seeing the world through his eyes also kind of pulls me back from, anything that I might be trying to doing things kind of start making me feel like a poser in a way.
I get you.
Like being really into like,
imposter
dark
syndrome,
gothic stuff. Yeah, I guess. But it kind of feels like I'm trying to play the part of a person that I see myself as opposed to the person that I am.
Yep.
And I feel like the people who I surround myself with now in life, as opposed to people who I spent time with, in college or whatever, I think, bring out the kind of springy, sunnier side of me.
I think like what you do, I was probably speaking more specifically just past October, because I don't know if I remember the October before that per se. I think how you did it is authentically you. Like you did kind of the little bit of the spooky, but you still kept the quirky, the sunshine, the light, the comfy. You know what I mean? And I thought that was very authentic to you, trying to be maybe more spookier person constantly. And I think how you're doing it is very you. How you've been doing it the past year. Sorry, my time before that's a little more fuzzy, but like I think you've been changing it up with like adding the fun stuff with like your like things you put on your head, how you're displaying stuff in your background, like your carrots and all of that. I think it's very you. I love the fun emotes that you make for your chat, and like you're constantly changing it up to what's relevant and stuff. And I think you made a good choice with what you've decided to do. And I think the people who come into your stream see that, and that's why they stick around.
Thank you. This has been great. This has been a great episode. I think that's all we need to say, guys. I think we can call it.
That's it. We did it. We done did it. No, we really can't, though. We have to talk about the Nancy Drew thing before we could cut it, because before I saw this in here, I was prepared to open it and add this. So.
Oh, yeah, no. So I don't even know. I don't even know where to start.
When I saw this, let me just say, when I saw this, I was like, I fully believed. I was like, yes, we're getting another Nancy Drew game. I'm so ready. And then someone, I don't know who it was, pointed out it was April Fool's that day. And I was like, a balloon that had been popped. Like there was no amount to describe the deflation I felt. I was like, and I immediately quote tweeted this and added you and Ruby, and I meant to add Abby too and stuff. And I was like, if this is real, this is crazy. And then I think I replied to it and I was like, oh, it's April Fool's. But I'm sorry, go ahead and give the context.
No, I mean, if you're listening to this podcast and you know us, I'm going to jump on a limb and say you're aware of what's going on. But Her Interactive, who, as we've discussed, has not put out a game or really talked about new games since 2019.
Oh, yeah, it was
after
2019
years
for
of
Salem.
silence. Yes. Out of years of silence, they made a post or a series of posts, basically on midnight in Pacific Standard Time on April 1st. They did a series of posts. They like cleaned out their Instagram and just had one post up there. They posted in their newsletter, and then they posted on Twitter.
Okay, wait, if we're going to go in that order, we should then, I think, point out that I don't know if this is true for you, but I saw this from Board Gaming Mama on Twitter. She's the one who brought this out, right? So you first brought up, okay, I wanted to show the tweet. If you do show this, you don't show this, but it has all the stuff she had pulled. So you had this was the newsletter, right? Happy birthday, Nancy, celebrating 93 years. Who established 1930. She found something here, didn't she? Wait. I saw the words 30. No. Go ahead.
April 28th is Nancy Drew, the character. That's April 28th, 1930 is when the characters first launched.
Right.
So she's going to be 93 from when she first launched this April.
Right.
And April 28th. And April is also fan month for Nancy Drew. So, sorry, context for listeners. So there's a newsletter that was posted, and then pieces of it went on to Instagram. And the newsletter had a variety of trivia questions, and then it had a letter.
Dear fellow sleuths, my birthday is coming up this month, and I've been thinking real hard about something I could give you to thank you for coming along on every case. I've been told that I'm not the best gift giver, but I figured I could let you in on a little secret. I am picking up my magnifying glass again and already packing my bags. Join me on my next great mystery. Be on the lookout for our case file. I can't wait. Love, Nancy. So the video didn't have the letters highlighted in red. That was the thing, right? It was this post.
Right. So the Instagram post and the newsletter version of this letter has letters that are, most of the type is black, but there are some letters that are in red. And so you can read a special message in it. And the letter said, "You've been hacked." But what I saw this letter on Twitter first, and it did not have red letters on it.
Right.
So I was just like, what is this? So a Twitter user would just see a video of this letter, and it was posted on April Fool's Day. And everyone was like, hello? What are we doing? So that was exciting and cool.
We have to read some of the, I don't know if you read some of the responses to it, but some of them were were pretty funny. Yeah, there's so no bad. Red. That's so, like, what was the thought there?
People were less than impressed with an April Fool's post that looked like it could be, you know, making fun of us, making fun of the fans. Just joking around, having a little joke about there being a new game.
This was the one that got me. If the joke is that your fans are legitimately unsure whether you're making a new game or not because the first reference to one in years is being posted on April Fool's Day, you've done a bad job as a game production company. That was the one that sent me.
Yeah. So I would say there are some people who are doing positive responses, or just like, oh my gosh, like, if this is true, I'll be so excited. And I would say most of those people were people who make content or otherwise are people who want to be in Her Interactive's good graces and didn't want to come off as being rude to them. I basically stayed out of the whole thing. For me, when I saw it, I was like, it truly would be the worst decision ever if this was a joke. Yeah. I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe that it was a joke, because Her Interactive, it's right now, it's basically just a team of marketing people. That's all that it is. And I would be shocked to my core if a group of professional marketers, for all of the lack of planning and lack of structure and whatever, I just could not believe that they would think it would go over well to make a joke like this where there truly was nothing behind it.
No, I agree. And the best part was nothing, absolutely nothing from them for 3 whole days. It wasn't until the 4th that we actually got to find out if it was a joke or not.
That was the other part I could not believe. I could not believe that as soon as it became midnight the next day, then they'd be like, it's true, we're doing this, like something tangible. But no, we had to wait 3 days, and then yesterday on April 4th, they came out with another video.
Can we watch it? I haven't watched it. Wait, is this all it is? Oh, okay. Oh, wow. They really are like, it kind of feels like they're mocking us. Sorry we aren't able to share any info at this time. Stay sleuthy, smiley face. Okay, buddy. We're excited to announce we're officially working on a new game. That's it? That's all this was? Oh, we didn't have to watch that. I'm so disappointed.
I just wanted to see your face.
Was it worth
yeah.
it? I hope it was freaking worth it for you.
So 4 days after, or 3 days, I guess, after the April Fool's shenanigans, which I didn't see them respond to anyone on Instagram or on Twitter.
I'm pretty sure they didn't.
From April Fool's Day. So, I mean, they got a lot of negative comments. I would have expected a little bit more work. Yes, and so the video, if you don't want to go look at it yourself, the video is it's a little animated laptop, and words are kind of coming at the screen of just, is this an April Fool's joke? Are you guys serious? Just a whole bunch of, I don't know if they were direct quotes from what people were talking about, or if they were just general vibes of people being like, is this real? And then it types out what Gabe read out of the whatever, and the stay sleuthy in that message, there are capitalized letters in there that say salut. So everyone goes, oh, a French game maybe? Don't know. But then they say, yes, that they are excited to announce that they are officially working on a new game. Not, we're excited to announce that a new game is coming out, not that, not anything tangible, just that they're officially working on a new game. So they got more positive responses then, because everyone's like, okay, well, you're not totally screwing with us. Like, something is happening.
But remember the last time we were told the new game was coming?
And that's the thing. Like, I very much feel for Her Interactive, because we know what kind of feedback they've been getting for years. For years and years and years, what kind of feedback they've been getting on the last thing they put out, which was the first whole game that was put out under their new leadership and with their new processes. Like, so I get why everyone would be really, really, really gun shy and like not like really wanting to make sure they're doing the right thing and really listening to people. And so I absolutely hope that the last few years have been spent doing a lot of reflection and trying to understand or get a better understanding of what people are wanting from these games, and then being ready to implement that or getting the right teams in place to build that out. So that's my hope. That is my hope. I also, a lot of conversations have been going on like the Nancy Drew subreddit about all of the different clues and hints that could have been hidden in the Instagram stories or in the newsletters. I know in 2021 there was a lot of hubbub because Her Interactive had applied or had gotten a new patent for patent. Is that what I mean?
Trademark? Patent? Trademark?
Trademark?
What do you mean,
yes,
trademark?
Trademark. Yes. For Mystery of the Seven Keys. So everyone was really excited about that. And everyone was like, okay, so they got this trademark. So hopefully that means they're working on, and at that point, it had already been 2 years since the last Nancy Drew had come out. So everyone was like, okay, great. They are finally starting to make progress. And now 2 years later, and again, I totally understand the pandemic came in, messed a whole bunch of things up. I get it. But there was a whole bunch of hubbub about the Mystery of the Seven Keys trademark.
I think I actually kind of remember that when that happened, now that you're talking about it.
Mm-hmm. There's a new trademark.
Oh,
Her Interactive has a new trademark from 2023
okay.
called The Case of the Missing Clue. I talked about this theory, or I talked about my theory on this on my stream yesterday, but
The first trademark, I wonder if that's for one of their more kid-friendly games. Like, you know how they have the kind of branches off of, like, there's the coding one and all that. I wonder if that, but go ahead, sorry.
no, that's exactly what I was going to say, but reversed. So I
Oh,
think
you think the
that
new one? That
I
makes more
think
sense.
Case of the Missing Clue just sounds like something for a child's game.
Mm-hmm.
So, from my research of the current CEO of Her Interactive,
Mm-hmm.
she was really all about the coding app that they put out that taught that was designed to teach kids age 5 and up coding, and they would like help Nancy with like a science fair or something and
Mm-hmm.
learn how to code this robotic dog. And she was all about that. That's all she wanted to talk about. All of her interviews, she was just talking about that. She wasn't, talking much about Nancy Drew. She was talking about coding for this dog. And Nancy Drew was a character in this, but they weren't like solving a mystery.
Right. It
It was an
wasn't
app
typical.
teaching coding, and Nancy Drew was a character in the universe. So
Okay.
I'm wondering if it's kind of maybe a big brother to that, or something where it's maybe another thing of, a kid doing some more coding.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like the You've Been Hacked or whatever. So I don't know if it's like maybe they would come out with a Nancy Drew game and then have an adjacent app for younger kids or something. But I think it sounds like something for children.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the first one sounds way more like the typical, I think, Nancy Drew titles.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's all we know. That's all we know. But it was truly the biggest story.
It was something. It was something. Well, I saw you had put kick in the script. And if you looked, I mean, I told you to.
Just tackle some hot topics.
I went on a rant. I had to hold back. I'll try not to get too heated. Because I knew a lot of the surface stuff, but the more I was reading, I was like, oh boy. So if you don't know, Kick is a new competitor to Twitch. It's a new and ambitious streaming platform that began operating in January 2023. Yeah, huge quotes on that one. I don't know if I'm going to share my screen for this, but if you look at it, it literally looks exactly like Twitch. It looks like a hot knockoff. I don't know if you've looked at it, but I did post pictures. It's Twitch if the base colors of Twitch were kind of like black, gray, and neon green, to be honest with you. It's bad. Like the layout, all of it is Twitch. And
it looks like Minecraft letters.
For the logo?
The kick. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that part looks different. I didn't necessarily mean the logo. I meant the website itself.
I know. This is just more of like, it feels like none of this is original.
Yeah. Like Mixer, I would argue, had more originality. Way more.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and it does like exactly. And I think it's like, because it's also like green and black, which also feels very Minecraft. So it just feels like a Minecraft like overlay skin thing that you could have modded Twitch to look like.
Yep. Yeah. So I guess maybe to put this first stuff kind of is like, if you're looking on the surface, Kick the way Kick is trying to attract people is they are offering 95% of the revenue from subscription. So it's a 95-5 split. The streamers get 95%. And like in comparison to Twitch, Twitch is a 50-50. We'll come back to that. Don't worry. From my understanding, you get 100% of Kicks, which seemed like the bits equivalent on Twitch. So you get 100% of that. Yeah, what's up?
Who made Kick? Where did Kick come from?
Just don't worry. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. That was where. Don't worry. I'm not gonna give my opinion yet. I'll just give. I'll start with the like the facts or whatever you want to call it. So streamers can stream in 4K regardless of your partnership level. They were introducing a creator program which is supposed to pay streamers for each hour broadcast. This is quotes, a direct quote from. We'll get to that. You'll get a steady income based on hours watched and total viewers you stream with an option of being paid out on that same day. And then there is a fixed rate for 1,000 ad views. And like, not sure how that's all going to work out. Yes. Yes. Oh, do you have a question? Do you have a comment?
Well, so I do compensation for work. So I'm just doing some calculations and trying to figure out logistically.
You keep doing that. We'll get there. You keep doing that. You keep doing that. Think about it. Yeah. Okay. So the first known streamer to switch was American Trainwreckers, and he switched back in December 2022, which was during like their beta testing era, I believe. He helped them fix a lot of bugs during the beta testing. He wrote about updates and innovations on social media, and he's kind of become the combined role of like ambassador and community manager for the platform. I think a high named person who went over there would be Aiden Ross, who's one of Twitch's most controversial streamers. And I think at first it kind of started as like when he was getting banned on Twitch, he would stream on Kick until he was unbanned from Twitch and come back. But then I think he's kind of mostly moved over to Kick now, from my understanding. There's other kind of higher named, I didn't put their names here, it didn't really feel very relevant, but there's some other higher named people who moved over there. It's not exclusive. Nobody exclusively streams with Twitch except for maybe Train. I guess I don't know for sure, but I think he does exclusively stream with Kick. But everybody else is still streaming on the other platforms. And then I wanted to highlight kind of some of the other differences, or like where they're trying to separate themselves from Twitch. And then we'll get into where it gets really juicy and it all is like, oh. So if you watch Twitch, you may have seen when there was the gambling era, maybe, I don't know if we'd call it an era, but where there's the gambling was hot. And then there was some scandal, kind of, some stuff happened, and gambling became a lot more limited on Twitch. Twitch really, I think, kind of put the hammer down on it and was like, you know, we need to be a lot more careful about this. And
I'm sure Amazon was just like, no, this is such a liability.
Well, I think there was a big issue that was happening with kids, and like it being, you know, like kids seeing this, and the long issue of kids taking their mom's credit cards and stuff, you know, and all of that. And I think that was a big thing. And Kick seems to be, you know, very loyal to the gambling content. And from what I was seeing and kind of my understanding, gambling is the most popular or more popular content there. The other thing that I was like, okay, Kick has a less strict moderation on sexual content.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Heading on over right now. Choo-choo.
I knew that's what was going to get you. I knew it.
I'm a Kick girl now. What can I say?
And I loved that. I mean, the sarcastic, well, not sarcastically. So Kick is trying to position itself as a platform with a more fair attitude towards streamers. Allegedly, there's going to be no ambiguity in the rules, no unclear blocking of streamers, or any selective restrictions by the administration. A clear dig at Twitch. I think we can all safely say that as much as we may or may not love Twitch, one of their biggest issues is they can be very unclear in their rules and do not hold everybody to the same standards. And it just, they'll do stuff and you're like, okay, makes sense you did it here, but why didn't you do this? And like, why? And So Kick is like, well, we're not going to be like that. I think this is kind of also true on Twitch, but you do have to be at least 13 years or older. And if you're younger than 18, then you need special permissions from parents.
How?
Yes.
This is not your business, but like, good luck like, how do you enforce
I know.
this?
I didn't get into that part. I'm sure they might have had more information on like how they're going to do that. I don't know. What can you do? What can you do?
Nothing.
I don't know.
No one can do anything. It's okay.
I'm trying to think about how I want to talk about this, right? So I saw the calculations in your head, right, of where my head was going. I don't think they're going to exceed, especially with how much money they're letting the creators take away. That just does not seem. How is that viable? How is that sustainable? Because I don't remember. But I think Mixer in the beginning, maybe, I don't know if this was true for the whole time, but I think they had they tried to do that kind of similar thing too, because that is, I think, another issue with Twitch is their percentages and their cuts. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's something that needs to be talked about. I think there needs to be more conversation on that. I don't agree with the 50-50. But I really only think YouTube, as of right now, really has a shot at being true competition to Twitch. Facebook gaming, sure. But YouTube, right, has the huge advantage of it already has a sustainable infrastructure. It truly has infinite money that it can just keep funneling in. But most importantly, many people who are streamers, who take streaming seriously, know that you cannot solely rely on Twitch. Like, you have to have your fingers in a bunch of different pies. So what is a common side thing? Most streamers have, they put clips on YouTube, they put videos, they make separate content for YouTube or repost VODs or whatever, right? They've already cultivated a base. Yeah. Go ahead.
If you're a content creator of any kind, you cannot be a content creator for only one app.
No, you cannot.
Like, you have to hit the Instagram and the TikTok and the YouTube and Twitch, if that makes sense. Twitter, yes and no. No one's making money from Twitter, but like,
no, but the point isn't necessarily always just the money. It's that it's getting the views, it's gathering people, it's getting stuff, building the community out there. Yes,
in 12 different areas to bring it all back together, hopefully to on Twitch or on TikTok or wherever, or YouTube, wherever's going to pay you the money for the looks and the clicks. But yeah, you got to pull them in from all corners of the universe.
Because everything is so saturated now that you're not effectively reaching people if you aren't posting on multiple platforms, different content, short content, long content, whatever. But right, the bonus of the YouTube, right, and having the already viewer base that you've made, when people, like when Twitch streamers were switching or whatever from Twitch to YouTube, the growth is not nearly as damaged or affected as if you were to move to Mixer, because you're quite literally starting completely over. or like,
What is
to Mixer
Mixer?
or Kick. So Mixer was before Kick. Mixer was, I don't remember when Mixer was, but Mixer was tried to be a competition to Twitch. They signed over Ninja, and
Oh, yes. Okay.
yeah. But like, I should have put Kick there, not Mixer. I was just thinking about Mixer at the time. But it's the same kind of concept. Like, you are starting from scratch. How many of your Twitch is actually going to follow you there? Because it's not like how a bunch of them have already existing accounts that they can just be like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? A lot of
Right.
people
And
have
if somebody
YouTube
has
accounts.
bought bits, then yeah. So it's what kind of money do we like? Do I have to subscribe to somebody like on YouTube? You know, the basic subscription to people is free. So it's easy to just say, sure, I'll follow whatever accounts you want. And you can follow people right on Twitch and whatever. But like if you're following them to support them, now you're going to go and subscribe over here and do a variety of things.
Yeah. So the guy I was talking about, the first guy when we were train wrecks, since we were talking about the sustainability and stuff, he seems to think that all of those incentives I was talking about, all of the ways they were distributing money and stuff, that they can use all of that to attract the best creators, right? The best creators will see this and be like, oh, we want to go, that's awesome. Let's go do that, which will then in turn attract the best advertisers. And that's what will fund those crazy ambitions.
Yes.
I don't,
If the audience is there, then advertisers will be there. At that point, why not just have advertisers be paying the content creators directly and not have it go through this big service?
Well, because they need the cash flow, though. Like, they need to make money, right? Like when Twitch did the campaign with Coke, right? When Coke did the huge gaming campaign on Twitch is making money from that. Even though the advertisers, are working more directly with the streamers.
Like 5% or whatever could go back. But I'm just saying, if you want it to be like best for the streamers, I think there could be the advertisers, and I understand like having a middleman in there to say, hey, we're going to distribute what you're paying us to the streamers who it's going to apply to.
Well, I don't know if they're necessarily trying to be the middleman. It's just the thought that like that's what's going to fund everything. That's just going to allow this all to work. Like that's where they're going to get the cash flow to do this crazy stuff, is that the best creators moving over is going to bring the quote unquote best advertisers, which is who's going to be forking out the cash, right? Because, right, Twitch has Amazon, YouTube has Google, Facebook has Meta. That is what funds them. Those are the three tech powerhouses that fund the three titans. I would argue the two titans. Facebook is there, but I would say the two titans of streaming, right? Mm-hmm. I had to put in the pun. Here's the kicker. Sorry, it's not funny, but it makes me laugh. No. Kick is backed by Stake. If you don't know what Stake is, it's an offshore casino that was
so that's
back
why we
in
gamble.
Train. Yes. So Stake was banned on Twitch. If you didn't know, when the whole gambling issue happened, Stake was banned on Twitch.
To be clear, this is spelled steak, like a wooden stake that goes through somebody's heart.
Yes.
And not like a beef steak that you eat. Because I'm glad you wrote it down, because I truly was just like, what is this?
No, because obviously gambling is a stake to your wallet. I'm sorry.
Well, you up the stakes.
That too. Yeah. That too.
I just would have been really excited if it was just like big steak was.
I hate you. I can't. So, do you know who CoffeeZilla is?
No.
Okay.
All of these names are brand new to me. It's great. It's fun. Who am I? How long have I been on this app?
I sometimes they're
I'm a
not.
gamer. Hashtag.
I forget how, like, not in it. Not. I'm not saying you're not in it, but I feel like I'm like 7 layers of hell in it, and then you're.
Mhm.
I'm dragging you down. You were up at like level 1. You've been brought down to like level 3, and now I'm just kidding. Okay, well, CoffeeZilla. I don't know a whole lot about them, but they. I'm trying to. How do I say this? When I really started to learn about them, they called out the Logan Paul cryptocurrency scam, right? So that's kind of like their thing. I think is calling out stuff that maybe influencers try to hide or try to make it seem like, oh, like I really do mean this, but it's not, right? Okay, so he posted, I think it's a he, they, I'm going to say they because I don't know for sure, posted a tweet. Okay, Trainwreck's new platform is owned by, wait for it, ... stake. That's why Kick is paying insane creator splits. They're owned by an offshore casino, laughing at stuff, and it's the reason Train is moving to continue the stake cash cow. I wonder why Train didn't tell people that, right? Okay, so this casino company is basically making us, like, they didn't make Kick, but by, whatever, they're making
They
a streaming,
fund it.
by funding, yes, they're making a streaming platform by gamblers for gamblers. I mean, that's literally what this is a platform
Gamblers,
for this casino and to promote
some
gambling.
stripping. I mean, hey, I'm just saying, it's a party platform. I love that for them. That's a good time. That's a good time. They got to start selling and advertising cigars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for
smokes,
just
aren't just
gold
good.
coins. I don't know.
Chips,
yeah,
and not the kind you eat. Ones you used to gamble. Sorry.
Little chips is also with your steak. I mean,
Listen, I knew.
Maybe I'm just hungry.
It's the carrots behind you. You keep looking at them and you're like getting a little famished here. I can't. It, as much as I have grievances with Twitch, I was glad when they put a lot more stricter stuff on gambling. Twitch is a huge platform, and there's so many vulnerable people there, but specifically there's so many children brought to it and attracted to it, and like watching these people on it, and like these people are like their heroes. These influencers have become modern day heroes, for better or for worse, to the younger generations, and they're like looking up to them, and they're going to see this gambling and think they should do it or could do it or want to be a part of it and all of that, and like they don't know better, and they don't know how to think about this kind of stuff critically and like to be skeptical and all of this. And I just feel like it's taking advantage. And the same thing when we had all the like sexual content issues on Twitch, that really bothers me. In that, like, I get it, make your buck. I have nothing against sex workers or any of that. I'm not saying those people on Twitch were sex workers, but like any of that kind of stuff, like I have nothing against that, but there are places for it, and I don't think Twitch is it.
I mean, if they're going to have a whole bunch of things that Twitch is not going to allow, great. Like, I understand that kids are going to go and watch it, and that's kind of a parent issue of, okay, then you need to be aware of what your kids are doing, put your parental blocks on. Like, it doesn't make sense to me necessarily. As long as, okay, changing my tune. So right now they say 13 and up, right? I think if they really want to go like whole hog into this, like, nope, this is going to be like having all sorts of entertainment that's, gambling and be open to a variety of entertainment options. I think they should do a adults only. I think it should not be for 13 and up. I think it should be 18 and up or 16 and up
Yes.
or whatever. I think if they're going to go that direction, I totally support them going that direction, but I don't agree with their 13 and up policy.
Agreed. Yes. And I've been on Twitch a long time. Not since the beginning, but a very long time. And like gaming is what it was for. And I don't think gaming is what Twitch solely has to be. I love that we have the IRL stuff because people are more than just that. It makes it competitive with YouTube. But like, I think, right, the original pull of Twitch, besides it being the gaming, is it's the live interaction and the organics of that and the purity of that, of having the live interactions with people and live experiences together. So that I love that they expanded beyond gaming to the IRL stuff. I mean, we've got the creative side, the art, the cooking, and all
Music.
that. You got traveling, music. I love that. Believe me, I love that. And I know not everyone who does those stuff are gamers or do any kind of gaming on Twitch. But I think by adding that, they allowed for people who do gaming on Twitch to have more, to show more sides of them.
Without having to switch over to YouTube to do creative things that are outside of Twitch, but they want to continue to share with their community.
Yes. I just don't feel like because we did that, that means we have to have all the sexual stuff, like the pools and the hot tubs and all of that. Like if you're traveling, right, you go to the beach, you got your swimsuit on, doing whatever. I get that. That makes sense. That's fine. I understand that. But the other stuff, I think there are platforms for it. Better platforms suited for it, and that's where they should be, especially with the ages allowed on Twitch and kind of, I think, the kind of atmosphere they were originally trying to cultivate. I don't know what Twitch is trying to do, but I think that what Twitch, I don't know. Yeah, part of me hopes Kick survives in the sense that, like, Twitch needs some true competition. They need the fire under their bums. They need to feel the heat. They need to be worried. They need to be pressed to do better. That's what I think Twitch needs. I don't like the gambling stuff with Kick, so that part of me is like, I don't know if I want them to succeed. But I want something to happen that's going to cause Twitch to want to do better for its creators, for the community, and just be all around better. Because I don't know, man. The new CEO, though, he's something else. So maybe, honestly, maybe he's just going to crash Twitch into the ground, and maybe Kick is going to surpass it. I don't know.
Truly TBD.
I don't know. I know so many people who are trying to like go over to Kick, like smaller streamers and stuff, and like they're like, I'm gonna make it big and all that. And I don't know about that one, Chief. It's less saturated, sure, but you're also not getting the viewer base that you get on Twitch. I don't know. You go ahead and tell me your thoughts.
Yeah. I think for me, the maybe what we'll call the inappropriate side of Twitch, the the adult entertainment side of Twitch, the adult side. I think if it wasn't popular, then it wouldn't be visible. I think they definitely highlight a lot of videos that are, really, really popular, and a lot of people are there, and a lot of their adult friendly entertainment is really popular. And so I think having
they definitely make huge cash from it.
They make huge cash. I mean, they have a lot of viewers, so I'm sure they make a lot from, or that Twitch makes a lot of money off them too, which is, again, why they are continuing to do what they're doing, and Twitch has little desire to get rid of them. And also, I mean, I think it's hard because I know children, if 13 and up was not, or was easier to actually enforce, right? So if it was like, okay, well, 16-year-olds and up like can see everything, I don't think it would be a problem, and I understand that like young kids can get on there and see whatever they want to see, and I don't think that's a reason to kind of take things off. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think what children are getting, I understand there's a interest in keeping kids safe and keeping them away from things that we believe might be damaging, but I also think that there's just a lot of letting people who are not children live their lives and do what they want to do, and have adults in the child lives be the ones to keep track of what the child is doing rather than stop other people from doing what they're doing, just in case a child is unattended and goes and looks at them standing in a kiddie pool of water.
I mean, that's a fair take. I think another issue I have with it, though, is it's not easy to be a female in the gaming industry. And I say that with, I'm not an expert, I'm not a professional, but with a lot of experience in being in all genres and niches of the gaming industry and having been a gamer for my entire life. And like, I think sometimes that kind of content further perpetuates certain stereotypes about female gamers and female streamers and stuff. And that I also feel, I don't know, that really frustrates and bothers me. I feel like some of that stuff is damaging to, I don't know. It's just something that I find very frustrating, and it brings further harassment to other female gamers and female streamers. So, like, I get what you're saying, and I can also understand the point of view of, like, it's the parents' jobs to monitor what their children are consuming. But part of me hears that, and I think about, like, all of the awful things on YouTube that were, like, so easy for children to see. And, like, are we just going to say, well, that's okay to be there because it should be the adult's job? I don't know how to have an educated conversation on this, so I'm trying to be careful what I say. And I'm trying to, like, but just, I don't know. I just feel like there's other things, you know, like there's OnlyFans now, there's Fan House, there's all these things if they want to do that. So why does it have to be Twitch? And I get that Twitch keeps them around because of the money. Or like, is there a way to maybe like, sure, okay, let's say we want to keep it a part of Twitch, right? Is there a way to separate it more within the website so it's not so easily accessible to children or so easily viewable by children? Like, I don't know. I'm not saying the answer is for it all to be gone, but just like...
And that's how I feel about the YouTube piece of that, is that the YouTube algorithms are sending like things that get progressively more damaging or send kids down a pipeline or do whatever. Like, YouTube's algorithm is sending those videos to people. The Twitch algorithm is suggesting popular videos, regardless of what they are, to kind of all accounts. So I think there definitely is a, you know, again, is there like an age thing where it's just like, hey, we can, because you can say like, yes, my Twitch stream is going to be or should be 18 up, but there's no way to like
not gonna,
enforce that, and people can just say, okay, that's fine, and just move on. So I think if
you can
if there was a better way to enforce that.
But Twitch does, or they used to encourage where if you marked yourself as 18 up, right, and you had kids coming in and saying what their age was and talking about their age, they encourage that you would ban them from the channel, or like tell them like they can't really be here and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can't enforce it.
Yeah. I think there could be a segment of Twitch that like you could specifically, you know, have available for children, or like, I don't know. But again, for me, this feels so much more like, so do you want to either say, nope, this is going to be only a family-friendly site with only family-friendly stuff available? Or is it going to be open to all creators, and viewers are going to have to be the ones to manage what they're viewing? Again, I think the algorithms do push different things based on popularity, and there may be certain things that are really popular that may not be as appropriate for children. So I think that's definitely a piece that Twitch could work on. But again, kids are going to get on the internet and they're going to lie. And so if the only way to do that is say, well, we're going to sanitize or like make this fully family friendly, I don't agree with that, because I'm not family friendly. So I know it's a different way, but like, still, I don't know. That feels like a weird... I know I'm not a fan of that. I wouldn't support Twitch being like, well, we're going to be fully family friendly because we know kids could watch anything on this site if they want.
They can't do that. They can't go that way. Not with all the different streamers they have and the top streamers, just ignoring the sexual content. But like, yeah, like they couldn't do that. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I think it's something that should be talked about more. And I personally firmly believe that an influencer, celebrity, whatever is that, when you are that, you are in a position of power. And I think you need to have responsibility. And like, I know that's a hot take. I know that's controversial. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but that is what I firmly believe and stand by, that when you are in that position of power, you have to handle it with responsibility and you have to think about those things. And I think I feel these things even stronger from being a teacher, from having worked with a lot of kids who have gone through abuse, having worked at women's shelter and all of that, and having seen some really horrific things. I just feel very strongly about this. I very strongly want to protect children and their innocence. And so that's probably partially why I really feel the sexual content shouldn't be on Twitch, because of kids going there. But the dual factor of just like when that became a really huge thing, there were, bot raids going into female streamers and like degrading them and saying things about how they look and how they're streaming. And like, if you show even a little bit of skin, even if you're not trying to be like some of the super sexual people, you get all of this hate and nastiness. And I don't know. I think it's a really hot topic, and it makes me really sad. I get where you're coming from. I think what you're saying is very valid. I'm not trying to say that it's not.
Well, I think what you're saying is very valid. Like, again, I very much agree that I don't want children to be exposed to everything that it's okay for adults to be exposed to. I think there's a reason why there are 18 plus things, and why there are things that are 13 plus. I think should be a decently clear divide there on, what's available. But I also fully acknowledge that it's hard to enforce things and stop children from seeing what they want to see. And I don't know, what the answer is on should people stop doing things that are not appropriate for a 13-year-old to see just because they're on the same platform.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents. My other thought was that, yes, female streamers definitely, like, there have been so many like bot attacks and whatever. I just don't know if there were no streamers, no female streamers who were showing skin on the platform, I don't know if that would solve the problem. I think
I don't know if that
people
would solve
would
the
still
problem.
act that way. People would still react out that way because elsewhere on the internet, there are women who are not wearing clothes. And so I think, sure, there are people who are not wearing clothes on this piece of the internet as well, but I don't necessarily think that is a key driver or would be a block if that stopped happening.
I would have to go look because I don't have any stats or anything on hand. But I think if I remember from some of the discussions about this, when this was a more hotter topic, that like there was actually an increase in that. Obviously, there was already hate and whatever, but this, if I remember, did actually create an increase. Don't quote me. I could be wrong. In these kinds of things happening in a more frequency. And I would like to clarify that I'm not saying like showing any skin is bad or wrong for children to see it. And I'm not even necessarily saying a girl sitting in a hot tub is bad. It was what some of those women were also doing while in the hot tub, where I'm like, but why though? But why?
Because it's going to make them money.
Yeah. Sometimes I think I don't have the right morals to be an influencer. To be honest. And
Gotta sell what you got.
I'm very firm in my beliefs and my moral. I'm not saying those people are, but just talking in general. I don't think my morals are very lackadaisy, and I think there are a lot of influencers who have some lackadaisy morals and ethics. But there are also plenty who have, I think, really good, and they're really pure of heart, but whatever. It is what it is.
We do not have a transition.
Go for it.
So we are going to do our female developer spotlight. And so today we are going to be focusing on Alyssa Finley, who you may know because she was the project lead for BioShock 1 and 2. She's an American producer and creative director for a ton of other sci-fi games. She got her degree in computer science and wanted to play video games and found a job at a company that eventually became Stormfront Studios, who were the creators of an email video game called Rebel Space. They were in the 80s and 90s because they started out before email became a thing. They started out doing turn-based games that could be done over paper. So players would mail in a form or whatever where they had filled out all of the pieces of their turn, and so they would mail that into the game company or people who were running it, who would then take a couple days and then send a return document that was talking about what else was going on in the game so that they could be ready to make their next turn. And when email came out, that got to be able to transition onto email. So obviously things moved a lot faster. There were a whole bunch of forums set up. So people would meet up and would just spend all day talking about what their gameplay was and what their roles were, and just really building out that community. Anyway, so Rebel Space, which is, it was the second play-by-email game that was offered as part of a major commercial online service, and it launched in 1992. And the premise was that a galaxy-spanning empire was in terminal decline, and 40 commanders of empire fleets were the seeds of possible new empires. It just sounds very interesting. I'd love to know more. But, so she had been playing email video games in high school. And so she was finishing up college, trying to figure out what she wanted to do. And she was a computer science major. And she interviewed with Stormfront Studios because a friend of hers was like, hey, come down to California and hang out. And so she met Stormfront Studios, and the CEO hired her. And so she finished out the rest of her college degree, I think online or something, and she just started working. So she started out by working on some customer service aspects of the email video game, where she was generating messages for the game. She was helping deal with player issues, and then moved into kind of scheduling updates. And eventually, after some time and more experience in computer science, she became their head of programming. A few roles later, she became the technical director at Lego. Yes, Lego. That Lego.
The only Lego. What?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So there was an article I was reading that said she was in this stage when she was at Lego, she was cultivating new skills that had little to do with programming, and that she herself recognizes in women in gaming that turned out to be her greatest professional qualities. She said, hey, programming is not my strong point.
I feel
Over
that,
time,
sister.
I realized...
I'm sorry. I feel that. I had to take that for engineering. And shout out to you, Professor. I will not name you. He, bless him, he passed me because he knew I tried my hardest. I gave it my all. I did not slack off no matter how awful I was at it. It was a general you had to take for all engineering. And I don't have the brain for programming. I just don't. I can't see it. I can't touch it. It just didn't make sense to me. So I feel that. I'm sorry.
So after she said programming's not her strong point, over time I realized that coordination, planning, and methodology were my strongest points. My programming background has served to give me a context and credibility in the interactions that have to do with my passion. And I love that so much because very much, she started out and she was just like, great, I'm going to learn all these things. I'm going to be head of programming. I'm going to go over here. And then she realized, hey, I like managing. I like doing the coordination. I like doing more of the people side. I feel like moving more into the people side of things is something we don't get to hear about as much. And so I really loved hearing about that.
I would like to add, just for all you people out there, this is something my dad would say is super huge too. So he's works in the IT of Delta, pretty high up in that. And like, he truly respects the people that take the time to go and kind of, right. So he works with the business of Delta and like all the different stuff, right? He's not just solely working with IT people, even though he's doing the IT. And the people who in the business took the time to go and learn some IT and understand it so that they can talk about it in, a higher intellectual conversation. He respects that. And I think that's something that's important to just take away for people in general of, you don't have to have a lot of knowledge or anything in other areas of whatever that you're working with. But if it's not your core, like, don't be afraid to kind of get some base knowledge so that you can understand and communicate better what those people are talking about to you. And you can connect better with them because they're like, oh, these people are like, you're actually listening to me. You're actually understanding. We can actually talk about that. And it just can really improve group work. I'm sorry, I had to do that for my dad because he talks about that kind of stuff all the time.
Well, I mean, we run into the same problem in HR, where HR is so siloed a lot of the time, just like working with a lot of individuals. And so we have to have kind of either scheduled meetings where people from other departments come in and tell us a bit more about like what's going on and what their department's up to, or my job allows me to spend a lot more time talking with managers about, again, structural and like job descriptions and stuff. So I don't know like the coding and all of that, but I have good understandings of what each person does in their day to day than I have in previous HR roles.
Yeah.
So after spending time at LEGO, she then went to Irrational Games and was the project lead for 2007's BioShock. BioShock conquered the critics, where it garnered praise such as, I never thought that someone could create a fun and immersive video game around the fiction and philosophy of Ayn Rand, but it's basically what 2K Games has done. A unique and mature title that manages to make you reflect while you play, or smart, beautiful, and sometimes terrifying. It also won several awards, including Best Game at the BAFTAs and Game of the Year at the Spike TV Game Awards.
BioShock was a beautiful game. Such a good game. Would recommend to honestly anybody. It has I think a ton of different flavoring of genres. You got the sci-fi, you're having the action, the adventure. It's got it all. This is a really great game. They're all really great games, actually, honestly. BioShock 2, BioShock Infinite. Can we get another one? Can we have another BioShock?
Hey, Alyssa.
I know.
Can we get another one?
Please. Dude, that's a crazy life she's lived. Email video games to Lego to BioShock. What's next? What more is there?
Well, so then she started her own company called 2K Marin, where she was studio head, executive producer. After a few years, she moved over to Telltale Games, where she was a producer and creative director. So she was director of production for Tales from the Borderlands. She was executive producer and director of production for the 2014 Game of Thrones. She was director of production for Minecraft Story Mode in 2015. And a quote that I really loved is that her daughter plays Minecraft a lot and participated in the story mode test before I got involved in the project. I was very excited about the game. It also made me see that outside of my time with Lego Lab, and Zowie, I had always worked on adult games that I could not share with her. Microsoft Story Mode changed all of that and served as a bridge for my daughter to try out the rest of the Telltale catalog. As a result, we had a lot of conversations about the art of narrative design and her desire to be a game developer when she grows up. I was very happy to be part of creating that game and to see my daughter play it and discuss it with her.
I remember when that came out, my baby sister was like, game. Can I buy this on your Steam? Please, I'll pay you back. I'll do whatever. I'll give the money. I don't care. Please. And she played through both. There's two. There's two, I believe. I just played through all of it. I love that.
She was after story mode. Then in 2016, she was director of production for The Walking Dead, Michonne? Don't know.
I think so.
And also Batman, the Telltale series. And then she was project lead for the 2016 BioShock Remastered. She was the creative director for the 2016 The Walking Dead: A New Frontier. And then she moved to a producer role at ILM Lab, where she was producer for the 2019 VR game Vader Immortal, episodes 2 and 3. She was on the team for episode 1, but she was producer for Vader Immortal. She was then producer for 2020 Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. And is that where I ended this? Yes. So I'm sure she's doing more things. But in 2008, Variety was talking to her about BioShock, where she was talking about how her team was striving to make games more cinematic in scope. And I think you really see that from the rest of everything else she worked with.
Yeah.
Everything was very cinematic. It was a movie.
Have you played BioShock? I don't remember. Okay, yeah. You explain it. That's someone who's never played it. I love this. Yes.
So this is developed from quotes that I was reading. But BioShock places the player in the role of a plane crash victim who must ward off attacks by mutants and drones in the underwater city of Rapture. If all this sounds like the kind of survivalist dystopia normally visited by adolescent boys targeted by the male-dominated gaming industry, not to mention Hollywood, the philosophical and moral dimensions of BioShock raise the Enterprise to a whole other level.
Okay, yeah. I don't remember it being a plane crash, but I suppose that's true. I love by mutants and drones. Drones.
We mentioned Ayn Rand earlier. Yes? Everyone kept that in our little brains? So, there was, in this Variety interview in 2008, they asked her like a couple little questions, a little fluffier questions of like, what are you reading now? So she was reading a book called Sewer, Gas, and Electric, The Public Works Trilogy by Matt Ruff. Now, Matt Ruff, who also wrote Lovecraft Country, the new HBO series, newish, anyway, recent HBO series. But this book, The Sewer, Gas, and Electric, The Public Works Trilogy, was published in 1997. I want to read you the summary for this book. High above Manhattan, android and human steel workers are constructing a new Tower of Babel for billionaire Harry Grant as a monument to humanity's power to dream. In the festering sewers below, a darker game is afoot. A Wall Street takeover artist has been murdered, and Gant's crusading ex-wife, Joan Fine, has been hired to find out why. The year is 2023, and Ayn Rand has been resurrected and bottled in a hurricane lamp to serve as Joan's assistant. An eco-terrorist named Philo Dufresne travels in a pink and green submarine designed by Howard Hughes. A Volkswagen Beetle is possessed by the spirit of Abby Hoffman. Meisterbrow, a mutant great white shark, is running loose in the sewers below Times Square. And a one-armed, 181-year-old Civil War veteran joins Joan and Ein in their quest for the truth. All of whom, and many more besides, are caught up in a vast conspiracy involving Walt Disney, J. Edgar Hoover, and a mob of homicidal robots. So that is the book that she has been reading while working on BioShock.
Okay. Well, so it's been rusty since I've been looking at BioShock stuff, but typing the Rapture into Google again and pulling up the freaking fan wiki, because you brought up Ayn Rand, like you were saying, right? So Rapture, the city itself, in terms of its philosophical underpinnings, Rapture can best be described as a gulch, which is a term derived from Gulch in the Ayn Rand novel Atlas Shrugged, which is a localized underground economic and social community of free-minded individuals. Now, it differs from a commune in that it is uniquely freedom-focused and so upholds individual and property rights, but does not operate by the rules of a collective community. So the whole point of Rapture was it to be... I'll keep going. The original goal of Rapture was to create a laissez-faire society free of religious and government interferences of any kind, where any citizen could prosper for their own gain without being hindered by the needs of others. The world's best and brightest would be granted freedom of will and choice in Rapture, unrestrained by government, religion, and other such established institutions. Instead of abiding by traditions and moral systems imposed by those institutions, values such as ambition, scientific reason, and free thought were to guide the inhabitants in their pursuit of achievement, right? So it was going to be a utopia, was what Rapture was supposed to be. But as you play through the game, you're like, about that. But also, like what you're talking about what her having been reading while playing this game, like I see that. I see all of that. Yeah.
I know, because she just mentioned the title in the interview, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go and poke into that. And then I just found the entire thing, and I was like, oh, Lord, okay. Got it. Very good. Excellent. Gives me some idea of where her brain was at. And I had one last quote from her that her career mantra was, love the bomb. You can't make something great by being safe all the time. Sometimes you just have to throw that risk-adverse mentality out the window, stop worrying, and just go for it.
I don't get love the bomb in relation to that, but I'm also really sick right now, and I'm a little drug-addled.
I think it's like, don't be afraid of like the fallout. Love the just like lobbing something in. Like, don't be worried about like, being safe, or like, don't be worried if everything explodes. Like, sometimes you just have to let it happen and then just see what you find.
Right.
That's how I read it.
Well, the stuff after it, that makes sense to me. It was more of the phrasing, love the bomb, where I was like, I'm not following. But yeah, the way you say that makes sense. I mean, you definitely... Yeah, because I mean, she was an entrepreneur, right? Because you're saying she made she made a company of her own, right? Isn't that what you said? Or am I crazy?
Yeah, she had her own company for a few years before joining back in with some other companies that were established. But yeah, so that is Alyssa Finley.
I love that. I love that we're doing this and covering these. That's always very interesting. And it's empowering, it's
all of their stories are so different.
We'll talk about this more in the next episode. We're going to talk about the esports. But I'd been thinking about this too when we were looking at that, is like, when you don't see people doing these things, right? Like people that you see yourself in, you can think to yourself, well, then why should I do it? Like, how am I going to make it if there's nobody like me doing it? And so I feel like us doing this and showing that and like reading about it and seeing it, it's like, oh yeah, there are these awesome, strong, powerful, like I knew there were. I'm not a dum-dum. Like I knew there were, but like having tangible evidence of it and seeing it and feeling it and living it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna go do it. But I hope it's inspiring people to think this could be a career for me. Like you can go do this. If you want this, if you like this, if you feel inspired, go do it. Like she said, throw yourself at it. And you really have to. Like it's okay to assess the risks, but sometimes you got to be like, the reward, though, if you do it, is greater than the risks, okay? And just go. Just go. Yeah. So that was great. That was really great. I think all of that was really great. Hot topics, not hot topics. That was a good episode.
Yeah, all hot topics.
All hot topics. Well, yeah, for better or for worse, all hot topics, but that's okay. That's okay. And thank you so much to all of you guys for listening and showing up to all of our podcasts and tuning in. It's greatly appreciated. Again, when you hear this episode, it'll be past Easter. So if you celebrate it, I hope you had a great Easter. I think Lauren hopes you had a great Easter. Can't speak for you.
Sure do. Me and my carrots.
You and your carrots. I love that. And a reminder, if you have a developer game or side quest you want us to talk about, or any local anonymized gossip you simply must tell someone, let us know on our Twitter at nosidequests, or you can email us at nosidequests@gmail.com. And if you'd like to see our lovely faces during the podcast, we post each episode with video to our I Don't Believe in Side Quest YouTube channel. And as always, you can find me, Gabe, at nenyaadamas on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram. And you can find my lovely and beautiful co-host Lauren at sweetie_patat on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thank you again so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys soon in the next episode.